Hey guys, so this will be a new YouTube series just to help people with Warno and getting into it. When I first started, I really had no idea what faction to pick, what units were good, and any skills, but the one that got me learning was going to be this one right here. So it's the 8th Infantry Division mech, so we'll just go through each tab. I normally like field supply points, purely because they can help you with your artillery and your friendly units as well. This is for a 10v10. Um, Playing ranked, I'm not so good at, to be honest. Then you've got your command vehicle. You can pick between other command vehicles, although I would probably stay away from helis. They're good at capturing early game, but once enemy AA's up, you really start to lose these quickly compared to these, which, you know, you can hide them somewhere and they'll all be fine. And for this deck I went with the UH-60 supply chopper, purely because it is quick enough. It contains 1,000 supplies, so if you just want to keep ferrying supplies to the front lines, they're amazing, especially since you've got the supply point. And then the M35 supply for going all the way to the front, where your frontline units are. This is where you normally have your tows, this is where you normally have any of your like tanks that need resupplying, and just have them on the basic rank, purely because there is no need to upgrade them. Going to infantry tab, this is where it gets a bit more, how to say, a bit more complicated. I always go with the TOW 2s, purely because they are the best ones, just due to their high penetration of 25 penetration compared with the TOW 1s, which are 20. Albeit you are trading off by 2 units. That's why we've got 2 of them, so you can space them out. They are themselves quite costly, albeit they do work well. I've done it in 2 things, so you've got one of them with the M1A3, which is just a heavy machine gun, which will allow it to provide cover, and then the other one with the transport truck, purely because this one's just go ahead, as it's got a higher speed. Then coming on to the Rangers, I've stuck them all in helicopters for early game starts to push the front. These would be the Dragons. They've got an okay anti-tank gun, but their main aspect is just their big strength numbers and the damage they do. Then going on to the standard Rangers, where they have just a weaker anti-tank, but they do have the special force ability and the shock ability, which comes in handy. These are also transported by the Black Hawks. And then we've got the Rangers Lieutenant, who comes with shock, he comes with special forces, and he comes with the leader ability, which will boost all of these up to veteran. Anywhere near will be veteran, which does help. They is also supplied to the Black Hawk. Then we go on to the Engineers. The Engineers, we've just done 1 rank up, so we get 5 of them, and they're coming in the M13A3, because it has the heavy machine gun to provide cover. These are just good for going in, holding, and then charging forward against enemy troops, and the satchel charge comes in handy. And then we've got the Fire Team. The Fire Team's got a better anti-tank, although it is at 675, but it does have 2 light support weapons, and it's linked, which means it will be able to provide a boost anywhere near any of these transports. This one, we're coming in the M13A3 with an anti-tank missile. Not the best penetration, but at least provides more cover and anti-tank units. And it also has its heavy machine gun at a long range. Then we're going on to the mech rifles lore. They're the same as the Rangers, except they only have the M16A2. But we are just using them as cannon fodder in a way, purely because there is a large amount of them to provide support. Going on to artillery. Now, artillery is good, but you've got to manage it well, so you've got to keep moving units around. So that's why we've got our supply point, as the MRSs take a lot of ammo. So you've got the MRSs, the heat, it only fires 12 per salvo, and the reload time is about 3 minutes. Although they do provide a very good starting to delay the enemies. Purely if you fire it at a checkpoint that the enemies are just going to head to and spawn, they will be able to wipe out a large amount of enemy units, albeit you've just got to be aware this will happen to yourself. Then you've got the M10s 9A2s, we've got 2 of them. You can go with the M10's A2, albeit you only get one of them, and I find it's better to have double the amount than, you know, 2 instead of 4. Purely because with 4, you'll be able to hit a lot more targets and move these around, as they will get counter-RT'd. They do have a good howitzer gun, good damage, and they will be able to reach near across the map. They only do salvos of 3, while the MA2 do salvos of 2, so you're getting that extra boost. You can bring in a mortars instead of one of these, albeit mortars normally get killed by RT on the front line, and they do expose your supply points near the front line as well. Then going on to tanks. With this deck, you do have the option of the M1 Abrams or the M1A1 Abrams. What I would go with is just the M1A1 Abrams. As you can see, the more the better, purely because they do have decent static and motion rates, and they have a decent penetration gun, and 18 front armor and 10 HP. So we'll have 8 of them. Then we have the command tank. This is very good for holding front and boosting these up to the trained variation, which will help. Then you've got the ITV. This has got 25 penetration like our toe, but it's more manoeuvrable, and we can dot these around the front lines, which will be able to kill really well. Then we're going on to the TTS. I've got this one in this deck purely as it's a cheaper tank. It has a long range ground target base compared to the Sev, which has a 1750. This is why, even though it's near 50 points extra, it's much better for hitting those targets and equaling it. Then we're going on to recon. With the recon, you can pick scouts, you can pick the Kawara, which does have the Hellfire missiles, which comes in handy, albeit they only have 4, and it's more prone to being shot down compared to the LRSs, which are very good as they're a 6-man squad, and they come with the traits of GSR, which improve their optics. They have airborne, which they can be deployed further ahead. Then you've got shock, special forces, and recon. Same with the snipers. You do have this ability, which is only on the snipers, which basically increases the damage of the sniper rifle by 500%, but they've got to be standing for at least 10 seconds, which makes it very good if it's in a tall building sniping infantry, which are a lot larger way, as they've got the range of 1250, 150, and 850. Then moving on to the Bradleys. You can put them to train, albeit you'll only get 2 of them. I just like to have them spammed out purely because they've got the tow missile, which makes it very handy for discouraging enemies to push, and they're cheap. With these, you can dot them around the sides of the map to counter enemies pushing, albeit I would rather have infantry there as well, as what I've realised with any armoured vehicles, if you're pushing through a forest, they normally get destroyed by enemy lats, enemy hats. For instance here, dragons will be able to take them out, laws will be able to take them out when they're in close range. That's why the best thing for these is across a field, as they'll just be taken out in the forest. You can use LRSs and then put something like a fire team around the sides. This is like airport, where you've got the large forest area on the left hand side of the map. But yeah, they're still very good. They've got 3 frontal armor, 3 side armor, so just try and have them face in front, and they do have the standard 10 health. With AA, I would always bring stingers, just because they're cheap and you can stick them at the front lines. Then you can also go with the M35 Hawks, and then the Chaparral. You can switch to Chaparral for one of the Hawks, albeit I do like the Hawks purely because they've got a large range of 5,650 compared with the Chaparrals of 3525. They do run out of ammo quite quickly, as they've only got 3 missiles, so you do need to have supply trucks ready. That's why luckily we do have our field supply point. With these, you want to set them up as quick as possible and normally have them towards the back, but you can put some of them forward, albeit that's why the stingers are here to push forward. The shrapnels are good to just get them up at the front, and you can keep on moving them around. So these are very good for if there's enemies pushing from one side, if any helicopters are moving, if they're doing a big helicopter rush. These are very good, and they're cheap. Then moving on to helis. With helis, I would always suggest bringing 2 of the cobras, tow cobras, sorry, purely because having the tow makes it much beneficial for discouraging enemy tanks pushing forward, and there's a quick reaction to any tanks moving. They also do have 14 Hydra 70s, which are good, albeit they do run out quite quickly, compared to the Cobra, which has 38 of each one. So I would say bring 2 Co's and 2 Cobras, and that will be able to help you out. With air, for new players, when I first started playing air, I really had no idea. It took me a while. What I've realised is the high explosive are very good if you can hit them on target, as they can wipe out a lot of infantry in a small area. Seed is good at taking out enemies, albeit I would just leave it alone, throw it out there, wait for it to hit something and head back. Then you've got the AT. I would only use this if there is not enough air cover, normally in ranked games, purely because on a 10v10 you normally have around 4 anti-air units per person on the enemy team, which is around 40. These are very slow and they get shot down very quickly, as they've only got 410 kilometers an hour, compared to something like the HE, which has got near 2.5 times, which is able to go in, go out real quick. And then just the standard AA unit, so they do have the air-to-air missiles, the aircraft at around 8,000 meters, and then they've got the AM-9s for helicopters and aircrafts, albeit once these are gone, if you're trying to hit helicopters, just get it out, because you'd rather not get hit and lose them. Other than that, that was the deck. Overall, this is a good beginner get, because it is multi-role. You have your arty, you have your tanks, you have a large infantry base, and you still have enough air cover and anti-air to be able to support your units going forward. Thank you guys. If you have any other options or any other things, please subscribe, like, and thank you for watching.